Hello, Steve. Hello, Jill. It's time to game classy.
I can't drink a Long Island. Those things are way too alcoholic for me. I mean, seriously, it's just like, it's brutal.
Mega drink.
Yeah, everything that you, it's everything I hate in alcohol. It's just like, hey.
Because it tastes delicious and it's loaded with insane amounts of booze.
I don't think it tastes, I think it tastes like super like nasty.
Oh, usually, well, so I guess I've had some Long Islands that were not good and tasted bad. And I've had other ones that were just like, oh, this is delicious. So.
This is delicious.
I think it might depend on who's making them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
imagine a decent amount can go wrong when your drink is 90% booze.
Yeah, I mean it's not
5% spritz and then 5% like Coke.
I know. Well, like me, I drink vodka regularly. That's just it on weddings. It's actually good because that fits in with my diet that I'm currently on. I could drink vodka on my diet. Vodka. It's the Russian diet. Basically, all I do is...
So all you do is consume vodka and nothing else?
I consume vodka and nothing else.
All right.
No, actually, I'm doing that paleo diet thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they were like, you can eat just meat and like fruits and nuts. I'm
and
like,
berries.
Okay, I can handle this
Don't
diet.
forget to have some berries.
Yeah, I could have some berries. And I was just like, okay, this is good. So I've been on it for about a week now. You know, I started Monday. Very little...
Have your BMs modified yet?
I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people get weird BMs from the paleo diet.
But I was like, okay, well, my diet's mostly meat anyway, so this is just like an excuse so that I could tell my wife, no, stop cooking fucking pasta. I don't want pasta anymore. I could say that because she doesn't listen to the podcast. What?
Pasta's really bad for you.
Oh yeah, and especially because the whole wheat pasta tastes like ass. Which is
I think all pasta tastes like ass.
Oh no, I like the bleached white pasta, like the shittiest, like sugar-filled worst pasta for you. I love that stuff. The whole wheat pasta tastes like butt.
I mean, and I think about it like this: the pinnacle of Italian cuisine is dumping an entire bottle of ragu on something because they're trying to cover up the taste of what they're eating.
Well, it's not really what it is, but
it is.
Oh, it is. Especially since they're
hey, some more ragu. Hey, they might as well just like lean their heads back and pour ragu directly into their mouths.
Ever since they ever since they lost the international kickball championships, they're not gonna. Of course, they're wallowing in their own self-pity, drinking the ragu.
Yeah, exactly. They're
just
ragu.
like England. I don't really care anything about the international kickball tournament. I just wanted to make fun of England for a second.
You talking about the World Cup?
No, the international kickball championships. Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough.
But anyway, I'm doing this diet right now, and so I've been good all week. Like I maybe had like a slice of bread with dinner, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm not gonna no. It's not gonna kill me to have a slice of bread with this.
Oh, it might.
It might. But anyway, yesterday, my friend came in from out of town, and we were having kind of like another going away party. Like he was going to be leaving again, so we had this big sushi dinner, right? And I was like, oh, rice. I'm not supposed to eat rice, but it's delicious sushi. So I'm going to eat this delicious sushi. So after a week of not eating any like grains or anything like that, I had 1,000,000 grains because as they say, rice is a great food if you want to eat 1,000,000 of something. And I just ate it, and all of a sudden I was just like, my stomach, pain. Oh! I was like, my only regret is I have bonitis.
My only regret is I ate less sushi.
Yeah. Pretty much that's what it was like. And I'm on the floor like, oh.
Just one more.
That's what I was like. I was like, I need to eat more.
Yeah.
But it's painful. It's always so painful. Yep. It took me literally all night to get back to like normal. You
should do yourself a favor and hit up a Whole Foods, and I believe it'll be in the refrigerator, but they have paleo bread.
A paleo bread?
Paleo bread.
You can, like, we make bread at home because we're like those foodie hipsters who make our own food.
You don't make paleo bread?
Well, you make it with coconut flour.
That doesn't make it paleo bread.
Well, what makes it paleo bread?
I don't know. There's like an insane amount of ingredients in the fucking bread. I'm like, I looked at the back, and it's like this kind of flour, that kind of flour, this kind of flour, that kind of flour. Regardless, whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Is it good?
It's super good. The reason I'm suggesting it is because it's fucking delicious.
Okay, I was gonna say because you can make coconut flour bread at home.
Yeah, and you can make
Welcome
whatever the
to
fuck you
Paleo
want.
Talk. This is your host Joe, and with me as always is Paleo Steve.
I think this is a little too mellow for Paleo Talk. It'd be
okay.
like, welcome to Paleo Talk. It's where you're gonna get wrapped.
Are you doing CrossFit with this?
CrossFit.
I told a friend I was like, I'm doing this, and he's like, "Are you doing CrossFit with it?" I'm like,
P90X.
you have to go to a place to do CrossFit. I'm not going anywhere. Fuck that shit. Anyway.
Steve's using weird food because I have celiac.
It's true. So I had the weird food action.
You get the weird food.
Dun 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 dun
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Anyway, welcome to Game Classy. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is Steve, right? That's your name?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're on...
I can't say Fernando. So
Fernando? Ronaldo?
That's that one guy's idea. But then my idea, my completely separate and individual idea
Yeah.
that I came up with myself is Ronaldo.
And now with Ariaga, Ariaga 2, and Ariaga.
Yeah. Stuff. Butts. Sandwiches.
Center to right, right to center. Center holds, 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 holds.
Goal.
I work with a very Hispanic population, so we watched a lot of World Cup. Yes, it's very interesting because I was that crazy intense game of Mexico versus Brazil, which ended in a 0-0 score.
Brazil.
I was like, to quote Kevin, my friend Kevin, who I do the other podcast with, the way we look at it, either if Brazil wins, there's going to be a riot. If Brazil loses, there's going to be a riot. So we got a riot to look forward to at the end of this.
I don't know. My stance on soccer is the same as on all other sports, and I hate it. But I just want it to be clear, I don't hate soccer because I'm a scumbag American. I hate soccer because I fucking hate sports.
It's because it's a scumball sport.
Yeah, because it's a scumball sport.
All right. So, I mean...
You got boxing, you got MMA, you got hockey. Those are the only things that are real.
You got MMA. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to punch you in the face and hump you on the floor for 20 minutes. You like that?
No, I don't like that. I'm going to hit the mat.
And then we're going to do some P90X together. Do the paleo diet. Because Joe's doing it.
CrossFit.
CrossFit. Can you do like the P90X? Like, is there like a Jane Fonda workout type thing like that?
A tape for P90X? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a tape for P90X.
Maybe I'll do that instead. Maybe I'll just put it on like, I'm like, this isn't Jane Fonda. This is some dude with his bulge in my face.
Let's get physical. Physical.
Come on and get physical. Like sweating to the oldie stuff. I should do that. My goal is to lose some weights.
Delicious water.
Yeah, boy. Anyway, so there's not a shit ton left, but what was I gonna say? So of course this is a slow game week. Big
shit ton of fuck.
Yeah, no big releases from Games Workshop aside from the big box set where you could get like all 10 books that they're
All
selling.
the codices.
Yeah, all the
Aren't those
codices.
all the out of date codices now?
Yeah, but
Okay.
they're in a nice box set though.
All right.
Yeah, and for it's like $300 or something. Like, it's actually a deal because I think you're saving
Fuck that. It's $200.
you're like saving $75 off retail.
Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly. But you get all of the hardcover codices in a box that doesn't have any room for any of the other codices that are going to come out. I always hate that. I hate that so much. Because, so I bought the Harry Potter box set for my wife, the Blu-ray box set, because it was on sale at Amazon. It was, but it only had,
Isn't it all the movies?
Yeah, it had all the Blu-ray movies except for the last two.
Oh, what a blowout.
I know, so I had to,
You should have just waited.
I didn't want to wait because it was, way cheap.
Yeah, but you should have waited until the complete box set came out.
Well, I didn't want to wait for that.
Because now I have for example, the Lord of the Rings. I have the ultimate mega Lord of the Rings box set. It's 17 discs
But you don't have the Hobbits.
of Blu-rays.
The Hobbitses.
Well, it's not out yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I
You
have
should
the
have waited.
Hobbit- I have
You should
the-
have waited, Steve.
Well, no, I have the Hobbits on Blu-ray individually,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to buy the Mega Hobbit box set as
Oh,
well,
okay.
including probably buying Battle 5 Armies solo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you're a fool. Fly, you fools.
I mean, I've owned all of Lord of the Rings. I've owned actually Lord of the Rings. This is an interesting thing about Lord of the Rings. I have owned the Lord of the Rings films on 3 mediums.
Yeah?
I had them on VHS.
Did you really?
I did.
Did they even
I had-
make them for VHS?
They sure fucking did.
What?
Yeah, those movies aren't that new, bruh.
I know the last movie they put out on VHS was the one with Viggo Mortensen. Speaking of the one where he's like the mafia killer guy.
Oh, Eastern Promises.
No, not Eastern Promises.
That's the one where he's the Russian mafia killer.
I didn't say he's a Russian mafia. I say he's a mafia guy. It's in fuck. Why can't I think of the name of it? Anyway, but yeah, that was the last one. So it was after Lord of the Rings.
Are you sure it wasn't Eastern Promises?
It's not Eastern Promises, you dingus.
Are you sure? All right, was it A History of Violence?
History of Violence. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah. Also with the mafia, and he was a mafia dude in that.
Right. I thought you said Russian mafia guy.
No, I did not say Russian mafia guy.
Pretty sure you did.
Whatever. But yeah, I did. So yeah, you had VHS,
Yep.
DVD, and Blu-ray.
Yep.
Did you own it on microfiche?
I did not have it on microfiche, sadly.
Well, I mean, that's part of the thing that bothers me a little bit about the new codexes for Games Workshop. Not that there's 1,000 other things that don't bother me about Games Workshop. By the way, one of the comments I got on our podcast is like, I'd really like to listen to it, but you guys are so negative. I'm like, we're only really negative about Games Workshop stuff. We're actually generally pretty positive about a lot of things. But yeah, Games Workshop.
I'm positive that I did not shit my pants with that fart.
I'm hopefully positive that you did not as well. But yeah, make sure I'm recording there.
That would have been a bungle.
Yeah, that would have been a massive bungle. But yeah, how come the books aren't in soft cover? Like, why aren't they doing that again?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense to
I know.
me.
I mean, they had soft cover books for the longest time.
Yeah, and like it's not like Privateer Press doesn't do like a limited hardcover run and then soft cover.
Yeah, they do. They do the release of a softcover and a hardcover at the same time. The difference is the hardcover goes away, softcover doesn't.
Yeah. And so like people rush to get the hardcovers because they know they're going to go away.
Yeah, or if they don't like hardcover, because I know some people who like vehemently hate hardcover books. They're just like, no, fuck that, I hate them.
Oh my god, fucking A. So I'm on
Jesus, you just jizzed your pants.
No, someone I was just talking with like about Game of Thrones, right? And we're talking on a forum, of course, because I belong to many online forums, and I have to voice my opinion.
You degenerate.
Pushes glasses up as he says that,
and pulls Trilby down.
Pulls intensifying. Anyway, so I'm on this forum talking about Game of Thrones with it, and he's like, "Well, there should be spoiler tags on the new book until the softcover comes out." A year, because at least it takes that long for the softcover to come out, and then it goes. I go, wait, you're in a fucking forum for this book that you love so much, but you're not gonna read the new book until the softcover comes out? I'm like, it's literally like $15 more to buy the hardcover, and you don't have to keep it. There's nothing that says that you can't rebuy the softcover when it comes out. And he goes, well, I bought the softcovers already, so I might as well just go with it. But it's like my head just like snapped a little bit. When he said that, I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. If you love something, just buy it when it comes out, read it, and then throw it away. Throw it to the wind. Give it to a homeless person. Use it for kindling. It's just, there's a million things you could do with a book.
Or just keep it on your Kindle where you downloaded it like a, normal human being.
Not Kindles.
Or whatever. A fucking tablet.
Tablet, assholes. Reading books on tablets.
Turblet.
It is turblet. Books on tablet are only for guys who are self-published authors who decide that they want to read my non-fan fiction My Little Pony fan fiction.
You mean your canon fan fiction? How do you get that? How'd you manage that?
Well, that's
you just keep sending it into Cartoon Network?
Well, what I'm saying is it's not My Little Pony. It's like...
Oh, right.
You know,
it's My Little Equestrian?
Yeah, My Little Equestria.
My Small Equestria.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I think Equestria is a copyrighted thing on it.
Yeah, my small little horse. My small horse.
My Small Equinum.
Yeah, fan fiction, but it's not really that. But that's self-published.
So
authors
like
who do that.
Twilight.
Yeah, when you go on like Reddit and they're like, after 6 years of hard work and 8,000 rejection letters, my book finally got published. I go, well, I'm not going to read it because it got rejected 8,000 times, so it's probably not good.
It probably started out as Harry Potter fan fiction.
Yeah,
and then turned into Twilight.
Of course, because it's about their werewolf character who is shunned at the magic school, but yet somehow Hermione takes pity on him.
And there's vampires.
Vampires. They live in the...
Damn it. Fuck.
So what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the Games Workshop hardcovers. Yeah,
and
fuck
we're
that.
talking about Game of Thrones books, and I was like,
Yeah, so soft covers. That's like, it's the way to buy
Speaking
it.
of Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I like that ending.
Oh man.
I told you fucking the mountain wasn't dead.
Whatever, dude. He's dead.
You were like, he's dead. No, he's dead. He's dead. Never argue with the guy that read all the books.
He's dead. He's out of like I said. He's dead or out of action. Unless he comes back as some sort of gross monster.
I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, he's overpowered, so like it seems legitimate that he might come back.
He's the most overpowered character in the game.
Yep,
in the Game of Thrones.
That's what I said.
I know. Overpowered character. And then spoiler alert. Tywin takes a couple bolts to the chest.
He did.
Yeah, Papa don't preach.
Yeah, and then my two favorite things in the TV show didn't happen in the book. Brienne's fight with the Hound.
Yeah, it's different.
Boner popped in that. I was like, yes, that was so fucking sweet. I love when she fucking just loses her shit and is like, and just like punch him in the fucking face. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And then my favorite part was the Skelebones popping out of the ice when it stabbed the shit out of that kid in his gut.
Yeah, they didn't kill him, but that does happen in the book though.
Yeah, the Skelebones were pretty sweet.
Yeah, the Skelebones pop up.
Yeah,
or zombies, whites, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, that was cool. No, those are Skelebones.
Okay, but
those were clearly Skelebones.
Reanimated corpses appear and take care of them.
But they were Skelebones.
Okay, yes.
There was no skin or anything. They didn't have the glowy blue eyes. They were just
you know
Skelebones.
what? You want the skin and glowy blue eyes because they're much tougher force than just Skelebones. Skelebones are level 1, man. Like they're like level 3. Like you encounter that. Like when you go into the cave, that's what you encounter. Like the DM is like, you've encountered a group of skeletons.
Yeah, and they clearly like were a very low level because the one kid died.
Well, they did get fireballed.
That's true.
Fireball, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage.
Yeah, so that was pretty sweet.
It was like the ultimate LARPing right there. But yeah, that did take me by surprise that they killed off that character.
Yes,
and they also
love it.
And the other thing that really took me by surprise was, well, it shouldn't take me by surprise because I knew it was going to happen. But the Brienne Hound fight was pretty epic. I think it was because in reality, in the book, like there's 2 separate fights that happen. One with
TV shows reality to me. So you're talking about a fantasy thing that never happened.
Okay, I'm talking about the real thing that actually
the wrong thing.
Yeah, the thing that everything is based
the thing
off
you've
of.
Made up.
Yes. There's 2
your fan fiction.
Yeah, my fan fiction that was written by George R.R. Martin.
Yep.
There's 2 separate fights that happened, but I kind of like what they did with the show because it added a little bit more to both characters, and it made Arya's decision a lot cooler. I think in that it made Brienne's like whole purpose, like she fucks up really bad right there. Like her whole purpose is to look for the Stark kids, and she has one, and she loses it. She fucked up real bad.
Yeah, it's cool.
Real bad.
Yeah, so it's super exciting. But yeah, no, the Game of Thrones thing with me is so I did read the first book before I saw the show, and then I heard the show was coming out, and I was like, oh well, I'm not going to read the rest of the books because there's a show coming out. And I found that the first season was pretty ruined for me because I read the book. I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks. This is like, there's no twists and turns, and like I know everything that's gonna happen. I was like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. So I didn't read anything past the book. Now I'm in the position because there's lots of people read the books. There's 2 things that happen, and they're super fucking annoying. After every episode, I get to hear people like, well, in the book it was like this, and I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. If I gave a flying fuck of what happened in the book, I'd read it.
Yeah.
So go eat a dick and choke in the corner. And the other thing I do is this actually works really well, just trolling the shit out of book fans by just refusing to acknowledge whatever they're saying. I'm like, what'd you make that up in your fan fiction? They get mad.
They get mad. I look at it the exact opposite way because what I see, I read all the books and I'm like, oh, I already experienced all the twists and turns. So when I watch the TV show, I'm like, oh, this is great. It's bringing it to life. It's something like I'm used to the fact that all of this has been spoiled for me. Not spoiled, but all of this has already been revealed to me, so I know what's going to happen. And so when I see people like on the forums or in real life, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe Oberyn died." Oh, I'm like, "Fool! I learned about that years ago."
Well, the biggest thing for me is like
I've already dealt with my loss.
The other thing is, I guess like people are really, really attached to characters.
Yeah, they get really attached. Well, in the book and the show,
Yeah, I don't like the only character I like would be like I would like if Tyrion gets whacked, I'd be like, "Damn, that sucks."
Yeah,
but that would be and Tyrion is by far my favorite character. Like it's Tyrion, Brienne, the Hound. Like I have a little
you have a little org chart.
Yeah, I have a little chart of who, like my favorites. And if any of those people died, I would not flip out like some of the people I've seen with like characters getting killed.
But you know what? It's the people who are into Buffy, the people who are into fucking Like it's Whedon fans is what it is. It's the people who like they get really attached to the characters and they know their characters are not safe and their characters die and then they flip the fuck out. Like, Wash died, whatever from this 12 episode TV show, and I'm so sad about it. And then they bring it up all the time. It's like I'm kind of glad about Game of Thrones where it's like so many deaths that people can't keep harping on like Ned Stark getting his head cut off.
I mean, he just killed Wash because Wash was like the fan favorite character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's Whedon.
That was Whedon trolling.
That's Whedon trolling.
He's
Yeah.
like, I know everybody likes him the most. He's gonna eat a log through the face.
I'm a leaf on the wind.
I always point out that like he could have done it worse. He could have given him to the Reapers or Reavers or whatever.
He could have, and that would have been even better. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so that's my thing of Game of Thrones. So like it actually is like it's really irritating because everybody who's fucking read the books has to be like, well, in the books it was like this. I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit.
Who fucking give a shit? Let's talk about some real games for a second because I think we spent like 20 minutes.
Hey, Game of Thrones is a game.
It is a game. It's a Game of Thrones.
Yes.
One game that I before we had
Drinking Quest Trilogy Kickstarter.
We already talked about that last week.
Did we? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we talked about that hardcore. We were like, back it.
I see. Well, I got hammered playing Drinking Quest 2, so I forgot. Yeah.
A game that I didn't mention. I've been fucking pushing to mention this game, and I keep on forgetting every fucking week. So I actually put it up to talk about it. Drakiris. Have you seen this Kickstarter?
That's the minis one with the like Egyptian folks and whatnot.
Not really.
Aren't they one of the factions? I know what it is. I've seen a bunch of it on Tabletop Gaming News.
Yeah.
Shout out Tabletop Gaming News.
No, but the it's a little on the expensive side, but it's really, really nice looking, and it's a board game mini game, not just a war game mini game, which I kind of like a little bit more nowadays as I've progressed past my Warhammer phase. I prefer it to have like a little more boardy feel to it, so that I could bring it, put out the board, and just play on that. I don't have to have like a big 4x4 table with fucking terrain and everything else on that. I have my games for that. But I think the elves look pretty sweet and everything like that. I think all the minis look
There's like the
fucking
big
gorgeous.
dragons in that one, right?
Yeah, there's a big dragon.
Yeah.
There's a dragon.
Yeah, so I know-
wait. There's a fantasy game with the dragon in it? No fucking way.
I know.
If you listen to this week's episode of the Play On podcast, we talked quite a bit about that. Pat B was lamenting that all of these games are either got swords and dragons or spaceships. I'm like, that's because both of those are awesome. Why would you want to play a game that doesn't have swords and dragons in it?
I mean, the Lord of the Rings game Shadow of Mordor does not have dragons in it.
No, because all the dragons are gone from Middle Earth.
Yeah, I mean that game looks really actually.
But there
really
are
sweet.
orcs.
There are lots of orcs. That game actually looks really sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Lord of the Rings games, like video games, there's been like 2 that have been really good.
The Battle for Middle Earth RTS games were both very good.
Were they? I didn't really think they were that great.
They were good.
Yeah.
And then the MOBA's supposedly pretty good, which I haven't played.
The
movie ones are
Return of the King was really good.
yeah. And then
Return of the King was really good, and the Lego one was really good.
all the Lego games are good. They're all the same game.
Yeah.
And then the other one is oh shit! That like the RPG one is supposedly really shitty. This one I can't say. This one just looks good. That's all I got. Like I want to play it. So
Yeah. I mean,
it could end up being a huge steaming pile of shit, but it looks really good, and there's a lot of money behind it, and they're pumping it like a real AAA title. So that's right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta play a AAA game. I'm not gonna play a fucking what are these indie bullshit
What is
games?
this? Steam? I ain't buying that.
Anyway, the Dracarys game, I like it a lot. It's $100 for like essentially you get the main box set and all the stretch goals. It's pretty.
I'd personally take your $100 and put it towards Yomi,
Yomi.
the Kickstarter Yomi, which is not a miniatures game. It is a fighting game card game.
Ugh. Is
You should play it. It's really
Is
good.
there a Fierce Punch card? I was trolling Pat with this because he was talking about the Street Fighter card game.
The deck
and I'm like,
building game?
Is there a Fierce Punch card? And he's like, I believe there are punch cards. I'm like, is there a sweep kick? Perhaps is there an unpronounceable Japanese combo card?
There's no sweep kick, and there's definitely Shimpu Jenku Syaku.
See, that's what I'm saying. Unpronounceable Japanese combo.
I pronounced it.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're pronouncing it right ever since you got schooled by Vendor Badge.
Orochi Kadoji?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vendor Badge. Yeah,
But it was just Orochi Kadoji.
I don't know this.
I still knew what it was. I fucked up saying it, though.
Yeah.
Fucking Vendor Badge owed the shit out of me. And you know, it's because I was completely enamored by his lustrous,
by his voice.
dulcet voice.
But this is I don't know if you saw this for Dracarys, but
yeah, I saw these guys. I like they have the long face orcs.
Yeah, kind of like Ray Rackham used to do them.
Yeah, yep, Rackham style.
Yeah, I really like it, and I would suggest
their minis are very reminiscent of Rackham.
Yeah,
Like
I am.
If you like Rackham, you could pretty much, play this game instead of what's that? The confrontation that's never happening.
Oh, Phoenix Edition.
Yeah.
Every day that
Phoenix Edition.
Every day I crawl towards the release of Wrath of Kings, and it's still like I have no updates on whether or not it's coming out. I'm just like, I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop this every day that I'm not getting because I backed the Super Dungeon Explorer Kickstarter, and every week they're like, this is coming, this is ready, this is going. They're giving you constant updates on not just what's coming out, but what's being sculpted. And then Wrath of Kings is just like, I don't know what's going on.
Their dragon design is really cool. It's got wings coming out of the middle of its body, and its mouth has got like big spikes coming out of it. Sweet looking.
Yeah, I really like that, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't pump it more on the Kickstarter and on the podcast because I really liked it.
My favorite thing in this entire thing is the Collapsed Tower 2, and the cart. The terrain is really what I'm all in on this.
It does have some nice terrain.
The terrain is gorgeous.
Some cool wall terrain too. You know what? And they also got a professional painter to paint all their shit, so it looks really good.
Yeah, well, the terrain's straight up gorgeous. Is this a new company, or is this a company that's?
I don't know what company is doing. I know the game company that's putting it out is newer. I never heard of them before. Okay. But I don't know. You got my iPad, so I can't look it up.
They really, really look like Rackham, man. Even the art style,
it's all that French,
Voulez-vous Dracarys?
The European style when they're not, because they were waiting so much for the International Kickball Tournament that they decided to sculpt. But anyway, speaking of European style,
they're sporting really hard over in Brazil right now.
They're sporting. They're kicking really hard.
They're just sporting.
Yeah, trying to get past that 0-0.
Like a fucking crazy ass elemental maelstroms and stuff. Yeah, this is a really cool looking one. I didn't actually look through the whole Kickstarter.
I looked through. I was like, oh, this is really
saw
neat.
This is one of the things where I've seen on Tabletop Gaming News. I see this game's coming out, and there's a couple minis on the picture. I was like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool. And then I just never actually looked into it.
Well, what I really like,
because Kickstarters are there was a while there where I was destroying myself with Kickstarters.
Yeah,
it's oh fuck, that's a lot. I've spent a lot of money.
When I look at Kickstarters now, more than actually looking at especially with miniature Kickstarters, more than actually looking at the game itself, because the game for this could be shit for all I know. But when I look at it, I'm like, oh, these would make some really, really nice D&D figures or some RPG figures. Right. These are really nice. They're not crazy. They're not crazy out of the way. Like the elf designs look like elves. The orcs look like orcs. The humans look like humans. You could do some cool NPC stuff with them or encounter stuff with them on the table without having to really stretch it. So.
Right. Yeah, I actually really like the terrain. I might. I'll see if I can back it for. There's 3 days to go on this one.
Yeah. So it's going to come out, and the podcast will be out tomorrow. So it'll be 2 more days on that.
Yeah.
I'd hop on that. They've already made their goals, so the stuff is coming out. They don't have I don't know. It must have been quick because it was not up for a long time. I remember it only being up for 2 or 3 weeks. So I missed it the last podcast.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I find Kickstarters too, when they're halfway done or more. It's oh shit, there's this Kickstarter that people have been sending money to. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Exactly. One last other thing I wanted to mention that I didn't talk. This is going to be the stuff that I've been forgetting to fucking pump on the podcast as this episode's going to be. Because right now we're all kind of just waiting for
Guffman.
Yes, Guffman. We're all waiting for 5th edition of D&D. That's what we're waiting for. Fucking Infinity's got a new edition coming out.
Yep.
That's come out of fucking nowhere. Hopefully, it's going to be written by someone who speaks fucking English. This game, how you say?
When point gun, roll dice, opponent distance check.
No, you're not saying it right. You're not saying it. In this part of the game.
No, I'm trying to read the.
Oh no.
I'm trying to read the rules.
But you're not reading it correctly. In this part of the game, how you say you point gun and then you. I'm trying to do a mixture of French and Spanish right now.
Right, but I'm not. That's not me. I was doing myself
and then
reading
the
printed word.
The dice, the hand roll dice and. the number come up. If the number is higher than
El nombre.
el nombre is el higher than
SL higher. Yes. Is the higher. All right, very good.
it's the higher than the chart. This is a mixture of French and Spanish. Then, because I can't remember if it's Spanish or French who does the game. I think it's Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah. I like Infinity. I remember how we used to bitch about the prices on Infinity. However, with the price increases in GW, it's like Infinity's looking more and more affordable.
Infinity now is competitively priced.
They were just playing the long game, is what they were doing.
That was a smart move on their part.
Yeah.
They played the long game, and it's paid off.
Yeah, looks like let's see how this is going to pay off, Cotton. But yeah, now that GW and Privateer has raised their prices enough that it's now Infinity is a
Privateer hasn't raised their prices.
It's a little bit. I mean, but it's not that they've raised their prices, but it's like their game has gotten big enough where you have to spend at least this amount of money,
yeah,
so that it has become a competitive game. Now you have games like Wild West Exodus, which are becoming the new skirmish games that people are playing,
right? Because
they are much cheaper. Even the Wild West Exodus isn't even that fucking cheap.
Yeah,
in comparison.
Yeah, Privateer's not. Privateer's not cheap. I'd say Privateer's consistently maintained about like where Workshop was in like 04, 06.
Yeah.
And like, but Privateer's maintained that kind of straight down the line.
Yeah, they don't do the yearly price increase like Games Workshop does. You guys are so negative about Games Workshop. Yes, we are negative about Games Workshop. I'm not negative about Infinity. I think Infinity is actually kind of cool. Like, I like the design of the stuff.
I like Infinity a lot. The rule book was incomprehensible, and it looked like the game was broken. It looked like the game was broken in half.
But people still play it, so I don't think it's that broken.
I don't know, because people play lots of broken games, usually with a extensive what do they call them, comp chart.
Yeah.
Like they have extensive comp. Like Flames of War. Flames of War is broken because of the flamethrowers. Like that is
you mean
broken.
Bolt Action?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't mean Flames of War.
Yeah,
I meant Bolt Action. That game.
Don't put me in with those rivet counters.
Okay, you're the bigger rivet counter.
That's right.
The Brivet counter. I'll call you a Brivet counter because you're larger scale.
Yes.
Bolt Action is a broken game because of the flamethrowers. Like that sounds actually broken.
Yeah. It's not,
but it's banned at tournaments.
Yeah.
So like if I were to take that game raw, I'd be like, well, these are fucking broken. This game is broken.
Yeah.
Raw, it's broken. But you have tournaments where they say like you can't use the flame weapons.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and that's what I mean by like saying like Infinity's broken, but they probably have.
There's an extensive and I it's not Games Workshop, so there probably are FAQs and fucking errata and everything that balances it out.
That's another with PIP. They had a one of their models for Crix. It was a hag, and the model shipped with a rule card, and like they're like this was already done. After more and more testing, this model's busted. Like
the rule card actually said you play this model and you win the game. So they had to fix that card.
What they did is they released an errata for it immediately, and then they said if you want the card, just drop us a line here with your address. We'll send you the card.
Yeah.
So they sent it out to fix it because it basically like it wrecked hordes. Like its rules were anti-hordes.
Oh, okay.
And like which is fine because there's plenty of models for across the game where like you get an advantage against hordes as War Machine.
Yeah.
Or is a hordes player, you get an advantage against War Machine. You have a special model that's like made to take on the stuff that like that game does.
Yeah.
It was just way too good.
It was way too good.
It was like, oh, you're playing hordes. Free win. And just slap it on the table.
Well, I like games that are like that. Like
they fixed it before it came out. That's the thing. I was like, whoa, that's pretty unheard of.
Well, that's what I like games that were. So there's two types of games out there. There is like the standard play with your friends type game, and then there's like the game that you have to errata that you have to keep doing FAQs and errata for. Like for example, in Bolt Action, they put out an errata. I only keep on going to Bolt Action, guys. I'm not like pumping this game, but that's the game I'm currently playing.
You've been playing it a lot.
They put out an errata like once every 3 months. They do it a full errata sheet, and they put out the same errata sheet. They just keep on adding to it, and it's really helpful. It's really useful. So it's not like you have to download like 6 errata sheets and then look through each one.
Right on.
However, it's like I'm the guy that goes to the forum, pushes glasses up, who goes
pulls Trilby down.
Who goes up? I'm on the forum and I'm like, how come you guys haven't fucking nerfed flamethrowers yet, you dickbags? I literally did that. I put that on there. I'm like, you've errated everything. How come you can't errata the one thing everyone agrees is the worst part of this game?
Nice.
But
nice.
yeah. Because World War II was not fought with just flamethrowers. That was my point on it. It's like everyone, if you don't errata this, everyone will take flamethrowers, and then the game becomes a game of flames. It's Flames of War.
It becomes Flames of War.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why I called it Flames of War.
Yeah. There you go. I'm going to start referring to it now as Flames of War until flamethrowers are fixed.
Yep.
But aside from that, I like it when a company does that, because that was always my problem with Games Workshop is that there was
It's broken till the next edition comes out.
There was never an errata sheet on there.
Yep.
It's like, and I think it's because people don't know how to create a PDF at Games Workshop.
And, well, when they did finally start doing the FAQs, they called them FAQs.
Yeah.
When they did finally started making those, I would say 100% of the time, the things people have been asking were never in the FAQ.
No, they never were.
It's like, can I do this thing that like people have been doing and it's accepted to kind of do at tournaments, even though it feels really wrong and seems broken? Can we do that? And then the FAQ comes out, and that subject is not brought up. It's like, if you use a bolt pistol, you use the strength of the bolt pistol in hand to hand. I knew that already, son of a bitch.
That's funny because I do know that's like what the fucking what it would say.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Here's the,
From
like
Jervis
Johnson.
Jeeves.
Because I've been doing the crate shopping at used bookstores. They have all of the fucking. They have a lot. There's like a shit ton of 3rd edition, 4th edition, 40K stuff at.
Here's
these
a
things.
question. It'll
What?
never happen.
What?
If tomorrow Games Workshop slashed all their prices in half?
Oh, I would go back and play immediately.
All right. I think I would too.
No, because it would go back to how much it cost when I first started playing. So
I think it would be cheaper, because that means that like a box of Orc Boys would be $15. You only get 10 Orc Boys.
yeah, but then you get to get to 20 that you would originally get. It would be $30, which is how
So
much we fucking
yeah,
started.
all right, you might be right.
The fucking capes.
You might be right.
Yeah. That is what it would take for me to play. I mean, like, I look at some of these people, like, what's even worse is, like, when I go on my forums and I see people, like, here are my new Orc Boys, and I'm like, oh, shit, you just spent, like, $3,000 on this army, and they look like poop.
Like, why didn't you just buy a War Machine army, a Wild West Exodus army, an Infinity army, a Malifaux army, an Evil Baby Orphanage army, a Puppets War army, a Flames of War army, a Bolt Action army, back 4 Kickstarters, and pick up a couple board games and card games instead of buying that Orc army?
Shit. And it's, like, so bad looking, too. It's, like, the point of, like, they're, like, here's all the bits that I used. I'm like, you put so many bits on that figure.
Dude, I used to love that. The little kids, and like they had like the Tyranid with like the bolt pistol fist coming out of its forehead. Like, he's got a bolt pistol now.
He could use that strength at hand-to-hand
And then
combat, to the FAQ.
The fucking the Space Marines with the Tyranid parts. So they have like the really gigantic armor plate shoulder pads, and they just keep falling over.
But yeah, that's what it would take. It would take the prices having to be slashed in half and a 9th edition fantasy, because 8th edition is just bad.
What about a new edition of War of the Ring?
I always
War of the Ring was good.
I liked War of the Ring.
War of the Ring's a fantastic game. Well, that's the thing. I was kicking around.
That's what you texted me about that. Like, do you still have Lord of the Rings figures?
Yeah, well, I was thinking of playing War of the Ring.
Yeah.
That's why I texted you and asked if you have Lord of the Ring minis, because I was like, you know what, I might get into War of the Ring. And then I went online and looked. It's not available anymore.
No.
It's gone.
I have the rule book still.
It's gone. But I mean, that's bullshit. It's gone. Like, I'm not gonna get into a game that is gone.
Well, that's the best thing about it, is the fact that it is gone, so you do not have to ever worry about anything being broke by it. But if you did want to play War of the Ring, what I would recommend is using either the Mantic figures or there's a couple companies that put out like cheap fantasy figures that look good.
It's okay. I'm not gonna do it. I wanted to do it like as like War of the Ring, like official, like. But if they're never, if they don't have the game anymore, that means I'd never ever find a tournament for it.
No, there's never a tournament for it.
Right, which is but War of the Ring was a great system. It was actually very good.
It's
It was
Kings of
Alessio,
War.
and it was Alicio's system.
Yeah.
The last thing he did for Workshop before he made Kings of War. So it's Kings of War's beta.
Yeah.
But it's a great system, and I was like, maybe I'll do that. And I looked and I was like, oh shit, they don't make it anymore. And then I was like looking at some of the Lord of the Rings figures prices. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're jacked up.
Holy
It's
shit!
ridiculous.
Like the old ones, like the old $20 boxes are like $47.60. Like, what?
Yeah,
Like, you've been selling this box since 2001.
Yep, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that was absurd.
All right.
I didn't understand inflation. I understand prices go up, but like,
I understand the concept of microeconomics.
when you're going up, when you're like 10 times the accepted inflation rate, maybe even like 20 times. Like that's
because no one was buying it, Steve.
I know, and they had to bleed the people who were loyal.
buying it.
That's the thing; they're just wrecking their loyal customers.
Well, yeah, they've been doing that. Games Workshop, wrecking your loyal customers since 2005.
It's just rough.
You know, but I was saying, I was doing the crate digging with, looking at this stuff, and there was like a couple places I found that had all of the old chapter approved books, and I'm like, God damn it, that's something I did love that when Games Workshop did.
Oh, the
when
old
they put out the
chapter
chapter approved stuff.
Yeah, those are cool.
And I also
And they used to do the fantasy ones as well. I don't
yeah,
know,
the Chronicles.
I think they're called Chronicles.
Yeah.
And then they called them annual as well, I think.
Yeah, there was annual, and then it turned to Chronicles. But I do have to say, I was thinking back on it and looking all nostalgic, like, when you look at like that picture, like the glass frame picture, and then you touch it and a tear comes, you see your reflection and the tears in your eye. Mm-hmm. I was looking at that, and in that picture that I was touching and the tear was coming out of my eye was the Storm of Chaos campaign. Well, I was thinking about it because it's been like, I think this is like the 10th year anniversary since Storm of Chaos. I think Storm of Chaos came out in 2004.
Yeah, I think it did.
And I was like thinking like, God damn, that was fun. Remember, it was international.
It was awesome. There was the website.
There was
You
the
could, like,
website with
report your
the
battles.
fucking map, and it was like tracking it. I'm like, that's what Games Workshop did that I love.
Yeah, it
and
was awesome.
I would love to be part of that. I want to feel part of that community again, where I could put my trilby on,
I think it's just
push
gone.
my glasses up.
I think it's just gone, man.
It is.
It's those kind of things don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like that was fucking huge, and people were building crazy fucking armies.
And that's when Games Workshop was exploding as well.
Yeah.
Like it was getting gigantic.
like you can't like
And they didn't do anything to like sustain.
no. And then 5 years later, they were like, everything that happened in Storm of Chaos did not matter.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. We're gonna retcon the continuity.
Fucking stupid.
Vulcan is still around,
He's still kicking around, punching things in the face with his hammer.
hammering things in the punch face.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Anyway, so we got some little bit of time left. You want to talk about your games that you brought?
yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really bring them.
We're at your place,
they're
but you
here.
wanted to talk about certain games.
We got Splendor.
What's Splendor? It looks relatively
Splendor
Catanish.
from Space Cowboys.
What's that? Is that guy huffing something on the cover?
He's not. He's working with a sapphire.
Oh, okay, I see. Is he a jeweler? Does he have the jeweler
He's
trait?
a jeweler. So in this game, you all play as a
As a jeweler,
you all play as a rich merchant.
he plays Henry VIII. Apparently,
No. That's a noble.
it's Henry VIII.
I call him Franz Ferdinand.
What?
Yeah.
The assassinated Archduke.
Yes, that's why I call him Franz Ferdinand. So check out the components; they're pretty hype.
Oh wow, these are nice. These are poker chips.
Yep. So you're all playing as a merchant, a gem merchant in the Renaissance, and it's actually a drafting game. You're just not drafting cards.
These cards are nice quality too.
Yep, cards are nice. So the way the game works is you have
Good artwork. Is that the wall?
There's 3 tiers of cards. There's the 1, 2, and 3. You're holding the ones right there.
Okay.
The ones are the mines.
Yes.
Where you
Mines of Moria.
the mines where you get your resource. Then you have the tier 2, which is how you refine your gems. So there's artisans.
A caravan.
Yep, there's artisans, craftsmen, and then shipping guys to do that.
Some of these pictures are pretty funny.
Yeah, there's like a camel caravan.
This
and
guy's like, I want to make love to you.
that guy's he's a salesman. He's like, you want to buy some of my emeralds? I know you
I'm going
do.
to lick your penis.
I know you do. And then there's this here. This is the level 3, and these are the shops.
Shops.
Yeah, so they have
Shop through the heart.
so you have a cost on the bottom left there. You can see
Yeah.
it's a number and a color. So the way the game works is there are 5 colors. There's red, green, blue, black, white, or ruby, emerald, sapphire, onyx,
Now,
and diamond.
is Wizards of the Coast going to sue this game?
You know, they might. They might. And then that's
I like these poker chips.
that's gold. So
I just like the concept that they're using poker chips for this.
yeah,
I mean, it's nice and weighty.
When I saw the back of the box, I thought they were going to be like cardboard chips.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They're actually not. They're very nice poker chips. So so the way the game
It
works is
costs
you
a
have
shit ton for shipping though.
you have 4 actions. One of the actions you can do is you can take 2 copies of a single color. So
Yeah.
like I could take 2 blue or 2 black, etc. As long as there's at least 4 chips remaining in the stack. So
Yeah.
you can take it from any number down to 2. Like you just basically can't take it if there's 3. You can't take 2. The other action you can do is you can take one of 3 colors. So you can do like red, green, black, or red, green, blue. And then the third action is you can reserve, which means any of the cards that have been flipped up on the table, because you flip up 4 1s, 4 2s, and 4 3s. You can pick up one of the cards from the table and put it in your hand, and you can buy that later, and then you take a gold, this thing here.
Yes.
Or you can just rip one randomly off the top of one of the 3 decks and take a gold when you put a serve. And then the final action is you buy.
Yeah.
You can buy any of the revealed cards by spending the resource associated. So like this one's 3 white, 3 green, 2 black. So when you buy a card, you put it in front of you. And then in front of you, the card has two things here. This is either empty or has a number. And this is your victory points in the upper left. If there's nothing there, it's just not worth any victory points or prestige. And then in the upper right, they have a color. And then when you've bought a card and it's sitting in front of you, it's worth that for free every turn.
Oh, cool.
So like this, if I have 3 black, that means that any
Why's it
card
gotta be black?
Okay, 3 onyx, whatever. If I have 3 of that, it means anytime a card's flipped up that costs 3 black, it doesn't cost me that black. It costs me less. So you accelerate, like the pacing picks up as you buy more.
What is
and
this?
more
Is this this is a
things.
4-player game, right?
2 to 4. 2 to 4. And then the thing with these nobles, why you saw Franz Ferdinand, is you flip these up off the top. You get whoever you're playing with +1. And they have these little numbers here. So Franz Ferdinand has 4 black and 4 red. This swarthy Spaniard has 3 black, 3 red, 3 green. And this Russian Tsar has 4 blue and 4 green.
I
So
think
the way
he's
they
an
work-
Ottoman Turk.
So the way they work is when you buy cards and put them in front of you, when you achieve these numbers in front of you. So I say I have 4 black and 4 red. I buy my 4th red at the end of that turn. If he's out, he comes to me at the end of my turn, and he's worth 3 points. So you're trying to gain the attention of the nobles.
I see. It looks pretty cool. It looks
And
like
then,
like a good quick game.
The game, when you hit 15 points, when a player hits 15 points, that signals the end of the game. Their turn's over whenever it's finished, and then everyone who hasn't had a turn yet takes one final turn to try and break the score that person achieved. Because the winner is the person at the end of the game with the highest prestige, not the person who gets to 15 first.
So it's like Quidditch.
Right. So if I get to 15 and then you are sitting at like 12 and you buy a 4 cost, you win.
It's like Quidditch or the World Cup, right? That's how the World Cup works.
A Quidditch.
Yeah, it's like it's whoever. Yeah, you get whoever scores the most goals, but it's whoever catches the snitch first. I think wins.
This is not normally this is not normally
This
in
is
my
this is not a Steve game.
It's not normally in my style game, but I love this game. I think it's very good.
I was gonna say like Steve. This is not a Steve game. There's no combat
here's why I like this game.
because you quite enjoy dueling.
Well, it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
I do like dueling, but it's a multiplayer game with no king making.
Okay.
There's no table talk. You can't trade amongst the other players. You play the game. You have those 4 actions. That's all you do. You can't be like, I'll give you 3 green if you don't buy that card.
It looks like a simple enough like quick game to play.
Yeah, it's an all ages family game. There's a lot of strategy because of the drafting.
When we go to,
I like it.
So like if I go up to the Renaissance Fair, I can maybe find some
Bring some splendor.
bring some Splendor and have some like fellow.
Just bring some of the jewels with you, the tokens. You're like, oh, I've got some gold here.
See, that's the problem.
Every Spaniard has a sickness in his heart that only gold can cure.
Bum, bada, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, no, it's not normally my style, but I really like this one because there's no
king making.
no king making.
Yeah.
There's you can't screw people over. It's just drafting. It's like the person with like the best strategy or who gets the luckiest will win. Because if you flip something off the top that's like super sweet for me to buy, and I'm just like, yes, I like it. I like it a lot. And like everybody who's played this game has fun because nobody can like fuck you over by going like, you can't do that. And then like the reason I like player elimination games too is because the worst thing about games where you can't be eliminated is when you're losing. And like you can't win, and that's where the saltiness comes from, the king making saltiness or the king breaking saltiness, because you're like, well, I know I can't win, so I'm just going to try and wreck whoever I can.
I don't think that happens as often as you think. I think you do it more often than
Well, I don't play those games, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, so you're salty before you even walk into that game.
That's why I don't play those games.
Yeah. Bum, bada, bum,
I don't like. It's like, oh, this game's gonna last 3 hours, and I know I'm losing within
that woman
45
have
minutes.
a ferret on her shoulder?
Yeah, she sure does. She's a mink, I believe.
It's a mink. God damn. I can't wait for the Renaissance Fair to start up.
You should dress as this guy with the sapphire.
The jewels.
I have the jewels.
The problem is
No one will get in my way.
The problem is like I have I live in two very different worlds. Like I'm like George Costanza. Like I have friends George, and then I have relationship George. The worlds can't collide. I have like my friends and family Joe, and then I have like gaming Joe, and those worlds do not collide. Like my friends and my gaming friends do not collide with my like friends and family friends. Like they're just, it's like two different. They don't understand. Like there's like a slight bend in the world. Like when I bring like a board game out, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna play this board game tonight. Like, and I have to play with. I have to like walk with. I have to hold their hands, and like do all of this stuff with them. Like if I'm playing a game with you and like, Lyson and like whoever, Dwayne. Like if I'm playing with my gaming friends, I don't fucking tell them shit. I'm like, you're gonna fucking either win this game or you're gonna lose this game. This is how we're gonna play. And it's like, it's all hardcore and whatever else. And then like fucking,
then you get hit with flamethrowers and you're all mad.
Yeah, I'm all salty and everything. But they make fun of me for being salty, and they will continue to make fun of me for being salty. But if I did that with them, like my friends, and I got mad at them, they'd be like, "Why is Drew all mad at me?" Okay. But that's a fucking two different worlds. And like it's the same thing with the Renaissance Fair. I can't go to the Renaissance Fair with my friends because they don't get that. Like I'd like to be like ooh, I have jewels and I have gold. There's a gold. There's a sickness in every Spaniard's heart.
Only gold can cure.
Yeah, I can't like LARP or do anything like that with them because they're like, what's Joe doing? Why is he being all weird about it?
Dude, you get one of those Spaniard helmets, the bowl. You know what I'm talking about?
The bowl, like
the bowl helmet,
Don Quixote.
Yeah, the Conquistador helmet.
The Conquistador helmet's not a bowl.
Yeah, it's a bowl.
No, the bowl, it's a shaving bowl is what Don Quixote wears on his head.
No, I mean like it's bowl shaped with a rim. A Conquistador helmet?
No, that's Don Quixote's helmet. That's actually a shaving bowl.
That's a fucking Conquistador helmet.
No, a Conquistador helmet is like it's got like a fucking ridge on the top.
Yeah.
It's not a bowl at all.
Yes, it's not exactly a bowl. They did not take a serving bowl and put it on their head, but it's got a bowl dome shape.
You, sir, are wrong.
Or a wiener. Why is there no sound anymore? Oh, I turned my
You turned your
headphones down.
headphones on.
Turned my headphones down because I was sick of hearing your shit.
Well, we don't have much else to talk about.
What about the Lord of the Rings, the card game?
We've talked about Lord of the Rings, the card game, like 6,000 times.
Never talked about
this.
This
Is the
game.
Conquistador helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bowl.
Oh my god. Like
That's a helmet. We have literally talked about the Lord of the Rings card game.
we've never actually talked about this game.
Yes, we talk about it all the time. Yes, you get a special character card that goes into your deck and it pulls up, and it's what's different than the DC card building game.
That is not this game.
That's not so this is not the deck building game.
Right. This is not the deck building game.
Okay, which
this is
one
the LCG.
Oh, okay, the living card game, the
Right.
one from Fantasy Flight.
Right.
Okay.
Fantasy Flight.
Have you been playing it?
Yeah, I just picked it up. I was looking into it. I was like, oh, this might be pretty cool. And then
Living card games are interesting to me, but it's like a whole fucking thing. Like you got to get into a living card game.
well, here's the thing. I actually avoided this game when it came out because I thought it was going to be the standard like versus like one guy plays the bad guys, one guy plays the good guys, like whatever. I was like, whatever. I don't really care. It's a co-op game.
Yeah.
It's a co-op LCG. But like that's ridiculous. Like there's no other LCGs like that. It's 1 to 2 players out of the core box.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought you didn't like co-op games. Like we literally talked about that with Xenoshift.
Solo, baby.
Oh, you played it solo?
It's fucking hard. Oh no, I'll be playing. I'll probably be playing with someone else.
I was gonna say I feel real bad for you right now.
I find a lot of the co-op games really shitty and simple and like not difficult at all. That's why I don't like most co-op games because usually like. Or there's dominant strat. Like the biggest reason I don't like co-op games is because there's some douche who's played the game a bunch of times and is like, actually, you should only play that card under this circumstance. And it's like, dude, let people fucking have fun and lose. Mm-hmm. But that's the problem. That it is impossible unless everyone joins in at the same time. There's always going to be that douchey guy who's like, that's not optimal. Or
well, you mean me or you?
Someone who's no. If I actually like get roped into a co-op game, I don't say shit. I just go like, I'm gonna do this. Except for Zombicide, because Zombicide I was like, why don't we just go straight this way and then make a left, because then we don't actually have to play this game and we'll win. They're like, oh yeah, I guess that's right. That with Zombicide was hard. It was so hard not to do it because it's just like, don't go anywhere. Just make this straight line. Like this game's broken. You just go that way. Or like you'll have the person who's like, well, this is like they think they've got it all figured out immediately, and so then they're like mad if someone isn't doing it that way. That's why it's not that I don't like cooperative games. The games. It's that I don't like people.
You don't like people.
I don't like people.
You are in the wrong hobby,
And
sir.
this one is a max 2 players. So if you're you can add a second core set for 3 to 4 players, but fuck that. Like max 2 players is not exactly the highest definition of co-op, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that means I can pick one person and play the game together.
Wolf Rider, Hill Troll,
Yeah, it's actually very much like an RPG.
Goblin Snyder. Is that like Schneider from
It's
One
Rob,
Day at a
it's
Time?
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
It's Rob Schneider. Look at him. He's Rob Schneider.
That does look like Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Marsh Adder, a warg.
Yeah, so I picked it up. I was like, oh, I'm gonna give it a go. Play. It's really fun. And I actually there's something to be said about solo games. That's one thing that's really good. Not necessarily if they're only solo, but games that have a solo mode. I like those because you can play them a couple times on your own, and then like learn it. And if you run into any problems or things that come up, you're like, oh shit, I don't know what the hell to do. Then you like look up how to solve said issues you've bumped into or whatever, and then.
The Horn of
When
Gondor.
Right. When you teach it to someone, it's so much easier because you've played it a bunch of times. So you're like, oh yeah, just do this because I ran into that situation when I was playing earlier. So this is how you resolve that problem. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I played it a couple times. I got my ass kicked. It's really hard, which is sweet.
You got your ass kicked.
I got my ass kicked, dude. Not even close. Like I got destroyed. So I'm looking forward to playing it some more.
It looks interesting. I like the art, of course.
Well, the art's fantastic. Obviously, it's Fantasy Flight product, so the components and the art is really good.
Yeah.
Because like Fantasy Flight, they do it to
It's
the
Fantasy
nines.
Flight, $10 overpriced, but if
It's
you don't
only
mind,
$40.
I know it's about $10 overpriced.
I don't think it's that bad. That's the standard for all their LCG starters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's standard. It's standard Fantasy Flight. They're $10 overpriced. But
I don't know. I didn't think that the $40 cost was very unreasonable for
it's
it.
not
anyway.
unreasonable. I'm just saying it's $10. Like if you're like, well, let's spend the extra $10. It's going to be a good game.
I don't know.
It's
They're-
Fantasy Flight. What you're doing is you're paying the $10 for the extra quality. It's like you're paying for because Fantasy Flight's not going to put out something that's unreasonably shitty,
Right.
And it's going to be all the components are going to be good. I mean, I've never had a problem with a Fantasy Flight game, and even if there are bad components for it, you immediately email them and they're like, well, shit, here's an entire new game for you,
Right.
They got that new one out that
Dungeon Quest.
no, it's
Descent?
it's a Fable thing.
Winter Tale?
Winter Tale, yeah. That looks really neat. It looks a little complicated for me. It almost looks a little bit like was it Call of Cthulhu? What's the Cthulhu one? The House
Mansions of Madness.
Mansions of Man, the one that has like 10,000 components.
There's Mansions of Madness and Arkham Horror.
Arkham Horror. That's the
Right.
one I'm thinking of. It looks like Arkham Horror, where it's just like I don't know where to begin with this. This is
Yeah.
a whole.
After I've played this some more, I'll give you a full in-depth review on the next cast because I've only played it twice and I got my ass handed to me.
I thought you were
So-
gonna. I apologize because I thought you were gonna talk about the Lord of the Rings deck building
That is a
game.
deck building game. I would have said Lord of the Rings deck building game, not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
the
because
card
I
game.
was confused about that because I was like, well, I could talk about DC because I was playing that one, but I'm not gonna do that because
Yes.
we've talked about that a
This
thousand
is something
times.
we've never talked about before. And like I said, I avoided it because I didn't know. I thought it was like you're gonna play the bad guys, I'm gonna play the good guys. We're gonna swap like Netrunner or whatever. And it's like, I wasn't really
Meh.
interested in that. And so I was like, oh, it's a 1 to 2 player game. That's interesting.
What, you mean I get to play a board game without having to play with some asshole?
Yeah.
I'm okay
Well,
with this.
It's mostly pugs. Like that's the thing. Like if you were to go to like a board game meetup group,
Yeah.
like that would be the last thing and I'd ever want to do.
No.
Ever. Like and like Warhammer's okay, and this is why the same thing 1 to 2 players. Why that kind of upper limit of players is sweet. Because like when you go to the bunker or whatever to play like a miniatures game, you're trying to find a pickup game. If you're brand new, you can do that because like if you like the guy you end up playing is a huge douche, there's probably another guy who's fine, and you only have one guy to play against.
Yeah.
So you're like, this guy's a dick knocker. But like I imagine there are scenarios where you walk into a board game like meetup group and you sit down with like 5 people who are playing a game, and all 5 of those people are that guy, and you're just like, oh my fucking god, this is the worst. I mean, obviously you just get up and leave, but the problem is if it's somewhere new that you've never been before, like you want to like. Let people know that you don't just like fucking leave games and
Yeah.
like want to go play other games so you can meet some people who don't suck shit.
Yeah.
But it's not an experience I want
it's
to go
difficult
through.
altogether, yeah.
So like I'd most because like this game, I know who I could play with this game, and I could be like, hey, be like you I could grab you and be like, Joe, let's play this game. Here's how it works, and like I know the level of like. How it's going to be, and they actually have table talk rules in the thing, like how you're not what you're not supposed to do. And I was like, that's kind of sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I'll give you a.
You're like you're failing the tabletop talking rules.
I would definitely point that out. Be like, I wouldn't say anything. I'll just.
This is like the most
Point at
important
it.
rule in Warhammer 6th Edition. Warhammer 40k 6th
Win
Edition.
the game?
No. Have fun or something.
I don't-
Don't you remember when it was like?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the
that's
most
right.
important rule.
That was the most important rule that actually put a rule where you could just roll a dice on everything.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
was. I think that was fifth or sixth.
No, that was 6th Edition
Was it
40k.
sixth?
Yeah.
Where it's like hey, you moved 12 inches. It's like, but you can move 12 inches. No. Dice roll. Dice off. Let's have fun. Dice off.
All right.
Good times.
So we're at the end of the cast. Somehow we stretched an hour out of not having anything to really talk about.
I mean, I could have went on and on about RPGs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever want me to have like an actual like random fucking topic, just like prime me before we go.
Well, yeah. Well, I knew you were in a hurry because actually, friend of the podcast, Joe, is getting married.
Yeah, another Joe.
Another Joe, not I. The guy who came up with, I believe, is it the guy who came up with Jimmy Jablonski? I think.
Jimmy Jablonski, Mexican hat dancer.
Yes, Mexican hat dancer.
Jimmy
And
Jablonski, Mexican hat dancer.
what's-
Dan? Nice to meet you.
was he the one who came up with the not ultimate, not Katana guy?
No, nobody came up with Katana Guy. Katana Guy is
Katana guy.
the internet, like
Yeah.
a long
Or
time.
was
like
the
third edition.
the sorcerer?
The sorcerer was another
different
Joe.
Joe.
A different Joe.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, my friend Joe. That's
Okay.
I can make
So-
someone very confused
so-
by saying my friend Joe. And they're
So
like,
Steve has to prep for the wedding. We weren't even sure we were going to be able to record today. So
yeah, we're good.
it was a rush topic day. Anyway. Oh yeah, so good. Anyway, go to planetarbitrary.com for your Planet Arbitrary needs. You could follow me on Twitter at Planet Arbitrary. You could follow Steve at GameClassy, like our Facebook page.
I want to write an article on Planet Arbitrary about scratching my balls. Can I do that?
Yeah, more power to you.
Yes.
I'll put it up there with a big picture of your balls.
Well, it's gonna not just gonna be my balls. I'm gonna have illustrations on like good movements, maneuvers, like what appropriate
Do you
nail
like
length.
to hold on to the skirtum stretched out and then scratch?
That's an option.
There you
I'm
go,
gonna go
yeah.
through all of the different options.
All
you
the
could
different
do.
options? Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna show you how to do the perfect scratch when you're wearing pants.
Yes. You can like our Facebook page, /Game Classy. Search for us on iTunes, Game Classy Podcast. Comment. I'm still the top comment on there is that we're still so vulgar. I would like to get that removed.
Yes.
It's like I like this podcast, but it's so vulgar. Yeah, I would love to be the person that wrote that it was vulgar. Like, who fucking says vulgar in this day and age? It actually literally means it. Like, I'll say that's vulgar in an ironic, funny sort of sense. I will never say
I almost universally use vulgar.
wrong.
No, well, in my own way, like describing something like, it was fucking vulgar, man.
Yeah.
Like food. Like, that burrito was vulgar as shit. Like, that's how I like to use it.
Yeah. I think, once again, you're using it incorrectly.
Oh,
But-
no. I didn't say I was using correctly. I was saying, but that's how I fucking use vulgar.
Yeah.
Because who uses the word vulgar?
Well, maybe he was describing us as the Vulgar tribe from Germanic.
The vulgar.
The Vulgar. I'm okay with that. They are so vulgar. We're riding horses with hawks, you know.
Why aren't we riding hawks with horses?
Oh, mini horses on our arms and riding. That's my D&D.
Riding giant hawks, get a mini horse on your arm.
That's my D&D character
Your
right
D&D
there.
character's dead. He died. The hawk eats his entrails.
So I can't ride the giant hawk with a mini horse on my arm.
You know, I don't know. Sorry, dude. Re-roll.
That would be awesome. It's like my character will have a horse with him. All right, roll for the size of the horse. I roll. It's like you have a tiny horse.
Super small. It's like, can it be a centaur? Yeah, all right. You got a little centaur, buddy. Like rides on his shoulder and he's like,
Look out, Joe. We've got to fire arrows. Pew, pew, pew.
Dude, I totally want that to do edition. Can I do that, Steve?
no.
No.
Shut down. What do you think this is? Fun? No, this is D&D.
What do you think this is? The Northampton Wargamers, who are also our sponsor for this podcast.
Oh, nice.
Like their Facebook page, the Northampton Wargamers. Thank you once again, guys. We are getting
Thanks
to.
for hooking me up with Hamish's mom's nudes, too, by the way. Fapped to those a bunch of times.
I just thought it was a picture of I thought it was somehow they got like exposed wrong. It was just blackness, and then I realized it was the gaping void inside of her vagina. That's what I realized it was. Wait, you're not playing Dark Souls. You can't be fapping like that.
Shh. Dark Souls. That shit's so over. It's all about Bloodborne now.
Bloodborne. I make a Steve comment on the Play On podcast about you and Bloodborne.
What was that?
That you just masturbate. It's so hard. It's so hard. Oh.
I mean, I at least have the capacity to reach down and find my wiener.
That's true.
You need to play such baby games for babies. You just kind of like fumble around for it. You're like,
No.
I'm trying to fap, but I can't.
I can't find my wiener.
Where's the button prompts for this? How do I do?
Where's my tutorial?
How do I shot web?
Where's my tutorial?
Actually, Dark Souls 2 wasn't very hard. It was kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then speaking of Play On, go to listen to the Play On podcast. Pat got a little mad at me because I always called the wrong thing. He's like, in the history of Game Classy, you've never actually said the show right. So it's the Play On podcast. Pat always calls it our sister.
The Retro Game Review podcast?
Yeah, Pat's Retro Video Game Review Game On
Right.
podcast. You can listen to stuff about video games and all that cool stuff. Yeah, you're pretty good. It was actually really funny. We were sitting there talking beforehand because I said I wanted to go on there because you forgot to talk about a shit ton of things with E3. So I want to make sure you catch these things.
But was Pat's Nintendo boner fully engorged?
I fucking make fun of him for his Nintendo boner.
The internet was had a Nintendo boner after this E3.
Because the internet somehow can't get past the fact that there are things that are better than Zelda.
Well, normally the internet shits on Nintendo through E3s. Like, normally.
Yeah.
This E3, like, everyone's Nintendo boner was gigantic.
Because everyone was just like, oh, fuck, I gotta play another fucking Kirby game. I have a hard-on for Kirby, and the only way I could get rid of this massive engorged boner is to play a Kirby game. You know what I've never
But
said?
the same could be said of you in Assassin's Creed games.
No, I don't fucking...
You've played every Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, but I don't have a
you buy
boner
them on release date. You have a boner for
I
them.
do not. I wait till they go down in price dramatically, and then I buy them.
Boner for the air crad.
It's got to go down to half price in order for me to buy any sort of console game, please. But yeah, like Yoshi's Yarn World, fuck that shit. Like I'm gonna play that. What do I look like, a 12-year-old or a girl? That's only people who play Nintendo games is 12-year-olds and girls.
So where's your Nintendo?
I don't. Oh, hey, you're the guy who plays the Pokemans.
I was calling you a 12-year-old. I wasn't calling you a girl.
Okay. Well, you're the girl. Playing it.
I mean, I don't think that's that terrible of an insult.
I think
I'd be schlicking all day. Taking fucking selfies of myself and putting it out to desperate guys online. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fucking goddamn fucking Nintendo.
Making fun of dudes, and then I'd get a bunch of creepers going up on my Facebook page.
It's true,
and I'd internet shame them. That'd be awesome.
You do have it all planned out. But
I've
yes.
got it all planned out if I suddenly woke up as a hot woman.
Anyway, I was on the Plan podcast, and they were prepping before the podcast. They were like, all right, so we're going to talk about this at this point, and then we're going to go into this and this and this. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're not recording right now? And they're like, no, we're prepping before the show. I'm like, oh, Steve and I never do anything. We just sit down and just start talking.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? You don't plan anything? I go, sometimes. Like, I'll have something in mind.
Mostly our plan will be like, we should talk about that. And then like one thing, nothing else is planned.
Yeah, and then there's some singing involved. Like, if we planned before this podcast, it'd be like, all right, so we're going to talk about this Kickstarter, and we're going to make Fun and Games Workshop for this.
Just derail it super fast anyway.
And then we're gonna sing.
Why
some
bother
songs.
to plan something we're going to derail the shit out of?
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, listen to the Play On podcast.
Pat's Retro Game Review.
Pat's Retro Game Review podcast.
Yep.
And so do I have anything else that I missed? I feel like I'm missing something. Steve got a genie
Sweet.
bank.
That's awesome.
Little baby.
Nice.
So Steve, until next time.
I'm gonna fucking put some coins in this genie bank. Arabian Nights, like Arabian days.
Game Classy.